Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Sunday. Really looking forward to this day and getting our worship on and hearing from the voice of God and having our rich fellowship that we have together. It's really looking forward to this day. So we're reading through Genesis 43, 44, 45 today. And this would have made for a great soap opera. The drama. But what really caught my attention, what the Holy Spirit was highlighting for me today, was this whole relationship between Reuben and Judah. Reuben is the eldest son of Jacob, and Reuben is the fourth born. And you know, according to the culture, that the firstborn son basically gets everything. He gets all the blessings, and he really has the leadership of the family. So a lot falls on his shoulders. But yesterday when we were reading, Reuben tried to convince his father to release Benjamin to them so that they could go down and get more food. And Jacob said, no way, I'm not allowing that. And then we read today that Judah goes to him and persuades him. And so Jacob entrusts Benjamin to Judah. And we also read that when Joseph really tricked them, and he was going to take Benjamin from them and turn him into his slave, Judah sacrificed himself. He became the spokesman, really, for the entire family. He rose up in this position, and he laid down his life for Benjamin, and was willing to become a slave if Joseph would just release Benjamin. And it was this persuasion, the self-sacrifice, that I guess really impacted Joseph, so that he knew that they had changed. Judah was doing for Benjamin what they failed to what Reuben really had failed to do for Joseph, and Joseph ends up revealing himself. Now, Judah's the fourth born son; he's not the first. But there's failures there in Reuben's position. We know that he earlier had slept with his father's concubine. And obviously the trust, there's the issue of the trust there. His father didn't trust him. So when Reuben came to him and asked for Benjamin, it was like, no. And Reuben had failed to protect Joseph. He had tried. He convinced his brothers not to kill him. But he wanted to rescue him and send him back to his father. But there was failure there. In fact, it was Judah. It was Judah who persuaded the brothers to sell, or suggested that they sell Joseph, which they ended up doing. But obviously there was change there in Judah in all this time and everything that's been happening. Because understand, there's been a lot happening, because there was the time that he spent as a slave to Potiphar. There was the time that he spent in jail. And there was 7 years of plenty. So we're probably looking at, who knows, anywhere between 7 to 10 years, maybe longer, that they've been separated from Joseph. And don't freeze anybody into how you last knew them. People change, people grow. It seems like Reuben has disqualified himself completely, but there's changes in Judah. Judah is rising up as a leader among his brothers. And when we see what came from Judah, the whole kingdom, the kingdom of Judah. Yeah, when the kingdom split, and you had the kingdom of Israel and the kingdom of Judah, from Judah, the son Judah, David is eventually born, and weird that comes from that whole thing from Tamar. It came. Tamar had twins from Jacob, not from Jacob, sorry, from Judah, and that whole thing that happened there, and it was Perez David is eventually born from that line of Perez, and obviously since David was born of that line, so was Jesus. So you have King David coming from Judah, and eventually Jesus is coming from the same line, and in fact, even the term of Jew, Jews are derived from the kingdom of Judah. So from Judah, you end up with the title of Jews. So they walk around, or are referred to, at least the religious Israelites are referred to as Jews. So it's pretty amazing. It's interesting, but see, God doesn't restrict Himself to our culture, and in that culture was the firstborn who was the most important. All the emphasis was put on the firstborn. But when we look at the history, God never seemed to pick the firstborn, or seldom. There was always the exception. It just, even if you look at David was the last. He was the youngest, and you pick David. You've got the whole thing with Esau and Jacob. It was Jacob who was the younger. It's just, you look through and you see that God doesn't follow those rules because He looks at the heart. The heart is more important to Him than the tradition, and that should really help us to understand this whole thing about us pursuing Him, is that it's not the traditions, it's not the outward acts that have any impact on inner transformation. It's the heart. He looks for the heart to be transformed to impact the outer actions. So yeah, so looking forward to getting together, and it's gonna be a good time. I'm looking forward to it. God bless.